This is the SEC on ESPN, and we welcome you to Knoxville, Tennessee for a great SEC rivalry as the hometown Volunteers will have more than 20,000 of their fans here today as the Kentucky Wildcats come to town. Always a fun game between these two. Both of these programs were really in need of a win midweek in their last game, and both of them got it. Nate Ament had a spectacular game for the Vols, 23 points, took over late in a double overtime win over the Aggies. As for Kentucky, they were way behind against LSU, but somewhat miraculously got back into the game, and a turnaround jumper in the horn by Malachi Marino proved to be the winner. So for the moment, everything is okay for both these teams, but it's going to be a tough one for both of them here today. Both coaches, though, know they can count on one star player, both of whom are playing very well right now.
Well, for Kentucky, the engine of their success is Otega Oweh, and in Southeastern Conference play, he's been magnificent, averaging 21 points per game, 53% from the field, and he is averaging 3 steals a game in SEC games. That really starts Kentucky's great transition game. And for Tennessee, Nate Ament, their freshman superstar, has been fantastic, especially over the last 2 games against Florida and Texas A&M, averaging 20 points per game. His versatility and his ability to get to the free throw line when teams are physical with him is vital for the Vols' success.
Yeah, really playing much more aggressively, getting into the paint, getting to the rim, and really starting to turn all of that hype about it before the season into much-needed production for Tennessee. Don Daly, Owen Short, Vladimir Voyar-Tadal are the 3 officials here today, and it'll be Denzel Aberdeen and the Cats winning the opening tip.
Denzel Aberdeen is a huge part of this Kentucky team, having to take over the point guard duties.
Cam Williams, who could really shoot it, gets another start today for Kentucky, misses the 3, and now Tennessee with its first possession of the game. And look at the starting 5. Jacoby Gillespie is really the engine for this team, averaging better than 18 points and 5 assists per game.
And Gillespie being guarded by Otega Oweh. And Oweh is, I think, Kentucky's best individual defender. He's going to have to be physical with Gillespie.
Yelovich switches on to Gillespie with the shot clock running down. And an unbelievably high arcing 3 drops through the net for Gillespie.
Gillespie, you mentioned, he's 6th in the league, scoring 18 points per game, but he's gone off for over 30 twice.
Also 3rd in the league in assists, and now a Kentucky turnover. Gillespie with a full head of steam draws a foul.
Tennessee is a very good defensive team. When they get a deflection and take it the other way, Gillespie did a great job of getting into the body of the defender. But here's the 3. Get the switch with Yelovich, a step back over the bigger defender. That was a rainbow to start this game.
You talk about hang time. If that had been a punt, there would have been a fair catch at the other end. That ball was up in the air for a while. Gillespie's head coach, of course, Rick Barnes, 848 wins in his career, tied with John Calipari for the most among active coaches, and Elite 8 squads, Jay. Each of the last 2 years. Ran into Purdue 2 years ago and Houston last year, keeping him from getting to what would have been his second Final Four.
Yeah, last Final Four was 2003 in New Orleans when Jim Boeheim and the Syracuse Orange cut the nets down.
Yelovich making his 2nd start in a row. Now Oweh back into Yelovich. Pretty feed for the first bucket of the day for the Wildcats.
A beautiful pocket pass by Otega Oweh. And that's one of the reasons that Yelovich is in the starting lineup. He's a skilled big guy. Also a good passer.
Bishop Boswell into Jalen Carey, making just his 2nd start of the season today. Up with the left, down with the rebound. Off to Akara, who couldn't finish.
That's been a consistent problem for Tennessee this year, is finishing at the rim. Those are 2 relatively easy shots that the Vols missed.
And on a percentage basis, they are #1 in the nation in offensive rebounding. They get about 44% of their misses back. They just haven't converted enough of them. As now Ament is fouled by Aberdeen. And we get a look at Mark Pope, the 2nd-year coach for the Kentucky Wildcats. Took them to the Sweet 16 last year, and like so many teams, they have had their ups and downs. They're without Jalen Lowe for the rest of the season. Right shoulder surgery, and they're also without Jaden Quaintance today, swelling in his knee, and now they're without Denzel Aberdeen for a while. He just picked up his second.
That means Jalen Lowe is going to have to come in as a freshman, the lefty, and have ball handling responsibilities. You can expect Tennessee's going to put, Jasper Johnson. I said Jalen Lowe, Jasper Johnson. I mean, they're going to go after him defensively.
Corner three will drop for Bishop Boswell, who is coming off maybe the most productive game of his career. That double overtime win over A&M, career highs in both points and rebounds. Johnson puts up a three, and the lefty drops it through.
Well, you can't let him shoot it from the catch spot. That's his 18th three on the season. He is a scorer. He wants his left hand, but if you let him catch and shoot, he can drill it.
So a freshman who is really a scoring guard, but with the season-ending injury to Jalen Lowe, now pretty much the de facto backup point guard. Ament misses a three. And it's out of bounds to Kentucky.
Well, Tennessee, anytime Jacoby Gillespie comes off a ball screen, he can draw defenders, and when he does, there are going to be open people. He drew 3 defenders by snaking that pick and roll, and just a simple skip pass to the top. You have to move as the ball moves while it's in the air to get there, so you don't let a guy like Jasper Johnson shoot it from the spot he catches it.
Both of these programs 2-2 in league play. Tennessee ranked 24th. Kentucky fell out of the rankings. They are 11-6 on the season. Johnson, Marino, and a foul underneath.
Boy, anytime you get 2 on the ball, which they did right there, you really have to rotate quickly, and Nate Ament just a little bit slow getting to the front of the rim to protect it. And that's what drew that foul. Marino is really good at getting to the front of the rim.
And has become an incredibly important player for this team. Again, Jaden Quaintance not playing today for the 3rd game in a row due to swelling in his surgically repaired knee. And some of their other bigs, like Brandon Garrison and Mo Diabate, their minutes have gone down recently. Marino has become one of the most important guys on this Kentucky squad.
Well, he's efficient. He shoots 65% from the field. He's their leading rebounder, their best offensive rebounder, their best shot blocker. In the last 2 games, he's averaging about 14 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists, and he was 12 of 17 from the field over that 2-game stretch.
And again, had the game winner at the buzzer against LSU on Wednesday. Carey creating some space, and he's awfully good at that.
He really does a great job of sealing and carving out that space because he can get lower than Malachi Marino.
Yelovich open for 3. Count it.
Well, Yelovich is a skilled big guy. Really good footwork and just knows how to play. And that shooting ability helps stretch the defense.
These 2 programs met 3 times last season. Kentucky won both regular season meetings, and then Tennessee beat the Wildcats in the Sweet 16. Overall, Kentucky holds the edge 163-79 as a long three goes down for Gillespie.
Boy, they just kept going screen, re-screen. There was a miscommunication between Owe and Marino.
Tipped into the backcourt by Akara, recovered by Yelovich.
It is not enough to guard just one screen. You've got to guard screen after screen against Tennessee.
Williams swings it to Yelovich, 6 to shoot. Williams for 3. And Carey holds off Marino for the rebound.
Jalen Carey is wide, and he is a physical presence.
Vanderbilt transfer right into the chest of Marino, switches to the left, but it won't go.
Another close-in shot that Tennessee missed.
But another offensive rebound, and this time he puts it back in.
Boy, it is so hard to keep Tennessee off the glass. They are relentless going after offensive rebounds.
Mark Pope will call a timeout less than 5 minutes into the game. Kentucky's got a little foul trouble, and Tennessee, Jay, has been good at the offensive end.
Well, Andre Yelovich knocking down the shot off the relocation pass by Marino, and Gillespie just right behind the screen. A miscommunication with Marino and Owe, and you don't want to leave him open. He'll drill it.
Monday, the AT&T Countdown to the College Football Playoff National Championship on ESPN.
So it's all coming down on Monday night from Miami, from Hard Rock Stadium. It'll be the Canes and the top-ranked and undefeated Indiana Hoosiers. Jalen Carey's got a connection to that game. His dad, Vernon, played for the Miami Hurricanes, won a national championship there, also played in the NFL for the Dolphins, and is in the house today. And we got a look at him about half an hour before the game, and he was as locked in then as I'm sure he was as a player himself. You can see he is very interested in his son's basketball today, and I'm sure he'll be very interested in that football game Monday night.
Vernon Carey played on one of the great teams of all time in college football, that 01 Miami Hurricanes team.
Another Kentucky turnover.
Really good pressure by Gillespie,
who's in a lot of traffic and dribbles out of harm's way. Troy Henderson into the game for Tennessee, a freshman from Richmond, Virginia, number 24. Also another freshman, Amari Evans from Pittsburgh. And another freshman, Dwayne Brown II from Hoover, Alabama, who is headed to the free throw line. So 3 freshmen checking in out of that timeout for Rick Barnes.
Tennessee having some success with that little rip screen at the elbow, where a little guy sets a screen for a big guy, and you get caught on a switch, and all of a sudden you've got to deal with Dwayne Brown II. He's going to lock you down. He's so big and strong, and he gets low just like Jalen Carey when he's posting up.
Yeah, they take out Carey, who's 6'8", 267, and bring in Brown, who is 6'8", 251. Mr. Basketball in the state of Alabama last year in his senior year in high school. He will make 1 of 2 to give the Vols a 7-point lead.
I think he's named Dwayne Brown II because he's as big as 2 Dwayne Browns.
Just being an individual Dwayne Brown wouldn't be enough. Another Kentucky turnover, and between the injuries, the Aberdeen foul trouble, and the inability to take care of the basketball, the Wildcats are up against it early here today.
Well, without Denzel Aberdeen on the floor, that takes one handler away. And I'm not sure that this is the best passing lineup that Kentucky can have out on the floor.
Gillespie lost it, but a tip by Estrella bounces it out to Evans, who calmly buries a 3.
Boy, that tip is a big play by Estrella, because you let Kentucky get out in transition. That's where the Wildcats are at their best.
The lead has grown to 10. Yelovich banging down low with Brown. Can't finish it.
Well, Brown did a good job of walling up and got into Yelovich's body when he was going up.
Now Brown at the offensive end to lay it in. And what a start for the home team.
You know, Dan, Kentucky has had some slow starts throughout the season. They have been a second-half team. But right now, they are getting worked, and that has to change.
In their 10 games, to your point, against power conference opponents, they are minus 89 in the first half and plus 55 in the second half. They fell behind by 15 early at LSU and came back to win. Henderson misses the 3. Right now, the Volunteers on an 11-0 run. Jasper Johnson will end that. Boy, is that a nice-looking shot.
Well, that's Kentucky in transition, and even though he was 1-on-2, you know, that is not a bad shot to take. Obviously, he made it. But you're not going to be more open running 5-on-5 offense against Tennessee. You take the openings in transition where they are.
Yeah, Rick Barnes wants to force the Cats into as much 5-on-5 as he can. Keep them out of transition as J.P. Estrella with a little jump hook on the heels of a couple of scoreless games in Tennessee's last 2.
I'm not sure one-on-one in the post is going to be in Kentucky's favor. It's been too easy for Tennessee to get the ball inside.
Corner 3 for Colin Chandler. He is the team leader in made threes on the season. That's his 29th.
Another guy, you have to make him put it on the deck.
Gillespie, a nice hustle by Otega Oweh to knock it away from behind. And multiple substitutions. 2 new players coming in for Kentucky, Mo Diabate and Trent Noah, and Rick Barnes, who has the deeper team right now. He just subbed out all 5, Jay. Brought 5 new guys in.
Amari Abram and Bishop Boswell are going to have primary ball handling responsibilities. They have to make good decisions.
Jacoby Gillespie does not come out often. Sometimes Rick Barnes tells us the assistants have to say to him, hey, Rick, you got to give him a break every now and again. Getting a break now. Boswell might have had that altered by Chandler.
Kentucky's got some matchups they can take advantage of right now.
Screened by Diabate. Johnson, the lefty, up and in, and he's had the last 2 buckets, or 2 of the last 3 buckets now for Kentucky.
Jasper Johnson went scoreless in 8 minutes against LSU, but he is starting this game out on a heater, and you don't want to let a guy like that get started. He's seeing a big basket right now.
Really good player. Played for the United States championship team at the FIBA U19 World Championships last summer, as Diabate just got nicked for a foul trying to block the shot from behind. A little spark here from Kentucky after a big run by Tennessee to get back within 6.
Peace, love, equality. These words embody one of history's greatest leaders. A leader who had a dream and changed the world. Thank you, Dr. King.
Such an incredibly important day on the calendar, and we see Dr. King's memory and legacy carried on and amplified so often. College basketball does a great job. The NBA does a great job, and I'm sure it will be front and center for the national championship game on Monday night as well. Back here in Knoxville, Dan Shulman, Jay Billis, a 6-point lead for Tennessee and Kentucky, 2 arch rivals in the SEC. Each of them 2-2 in league play right now. You know, it's still early in league play, but Jay, every team in what is still a very, very good league this year, every team has already suffered a defeat. There are 5 teams that are 3-1 in league play. Vandy hadn't lost to anybody until they lost to Texas a few days ago. But it has the look or the makings of a wild multiple-team race here in the Southeastern Conference.
Well, no league. I think the Big 12 is probably the best league in the country this year. But no league is going to be as good as last year's SEC. That was the best league I've ever seen from top to bottom.
And we've got a conversation right now because there was a foul, but it did the whistle blow before Chandler took the shot. They're going to give Chandler the basket. The basket will count for Colin Chandler after Don Daly and Vlad Voyard-Tadal, 2 of the officials, discussed it. And what did Vladimir Voyard?
The previous play is under review, whether the contact occurred before the act of shooting.
Okay, so they're going to look at it to see, did the contact occur before or after Colin Chandler released the ball?
And the officials have to make a call before they go over to the monitor. Yeah, that foul occurred before he got it off, before he even got into his motion.
Yeah. So keep an eye on 77 in white. Amari Abram right there knocking down the Kentucky player.
Chandler was still
Diabate.
pivoting, so he wasn't even into the gather. So that's not going to count. And that actually will. That's only the 2nd foul on Tennessee.
Prior to the shooting motion, Kentucky ball on the sideline, 20 on the shot.
After review, the foul occurred before the shot, so it'll be no basket. It'll be Kentucky ball on the sideline.
Don Daly seems very comfortable on the microphone.
I was about to say excellent work by Don Daly. Now, the officials have been instructed you are to inform, not perform. And I'm like, that's backwards. You got to perform. I want them to go, we've done the review. We were right again.
Like, and give themselves, like, count the basket for themselves.
Exactly.
Trent Noah, he can shoot it, doesn't play all that much, not as many minutes this year as he got at times last year, but you've got to respect his ability from 3. Brandon Garrison into the game as well. Diabate way off with the shot clock running down, and Mo Diabate does a lot of things to help his team win. Shooting the 3 ball is not his strength, but basically he got the ball with 1 second on the shot clock. He had to put that.
It might have been less than 1 second. Nobody. That's like giving somebody a hand grenade with a pin pulled out. Nobody wants it then. I don't care how good of a shooter you are.
Diabate, such an important player for Alabama the last 2 years, transferring to Kentucky in the offseason. Nate Amen back into the game for Tennessee. Again, 40 points in his last 2 games. 17 in the loss to Florida, 23 in the win over LSU. And give him an assist, a nice post feed into Okpara, who did the rest.
Well, give credit to Nate Ament there. He came up on that shake action from the corner and threw a really good pass, and the angle was the most important thing for Okpara. He got an angle on Marino.
It really has the potential of being an imposing front line when you've got Ament at the 3, Carey at the 4, and Okpara at the 5.
Now watch the angle that Okpara gets. That pass led him right into his move, and he just pushed Marino back and was able to dunk it. But give Ament credit for getting using his dribble to improve his passing angle. That was a veteran play by a freshman.
Drive and finish there by Diabate to make it a 7-point game as we near the midway point of the first half here in Knoxville.
You're going to want to see Tennessee wants to continue to go inside. Right now, they're getting what they want in the paint, especially with the reversal.
And Amen tried to take Noah out of the perimeter here. He'll use the screen from Carey. Diabate the switch.
And now you got Noah having to guard Carey.
Gillespie, though, takes matters into his own hands and knocks down the 13-footer.
Those little rip screens up around the elbow are putting Kentucky in a position at the switch.
Chandler turns it over, taken away by Amen, and then Chandler knocks it back to Noah.
Boy, great back tip.
Marino right down Main Street, and he draws the foul as each team turned the ball over. Well, tomorrow afternoon on ESPN2, we've got a women's college basketball doubleheader for you. It'll be number 9 Louisville taking on NC State at 1 Eastern, and then a ranked matchup between number 6 LSU and number 13 Oklahoma, 3 Eastern tomorrow on ESPN2. Tough inbounds play. And stolen. Great play by Amen. Gillespie. Not this time. And the foul underneath going against Kentucky.
Kentucky threw that ball away in part because Felix Okpara did a great job on the ball. All of a sudden you got to throw it higher. That gives Ament the chance to come over almost like a free safety just to knock that ball away, and Tennessee's in transition. Boy, the importance of getting the ball inbounds safely. Tennessee switches that, so it's difficult to make that initial catch, but Okpara makes you throw the ball and lob it in, and that gives you time in the air to make that adjustment. That was really well done by Okpara and also by Nate Amen.
So 6 turnovers by Kentucky, 5 of them live ball turnovers, and Tennessee has turned those turnovers into 7 points. Gillespie, nice feed. Carey, blocked by Marino.
Well, you just got to go right into him. If you try to adjust it, that allows a shot blocker to get to the ball.
Marino taller than Carey, also has more lift. Carey is a more physical player, but he is a below-the-rim kind of guy generally. Owe rises up for a 3. Rebound, Amen.
Amen is a really good defensive rebounder, especially.
And here's more of that aggression we've been talking about. He has played much more assertively in recent games and has been much more productive as a result.
Well, he is second on this team in scoring, second in assists, steals, and leads this team in rebounding. And Ament is so versatile, but he doesn't get the credit. Teams try to be physical with him. You know, he's a freshman, he's not bulky, but he's stronger than he gets credit for, and he leads this team in free throw attempts. I mean, he shoots about 6 free throws a game.
In second overtime against the Aggies midweek, he had 6 points and a block just in that second overtime period, and finished with 23 points in the game. Just absolutely put the team on his back and led them to a victory.
Well, he had 11 free throws in that game, made 9 of them, and he drew 10 fouls. That's a tribute to his activity level, but also his talent level. He's extraordinarily talented.
The foul for Kentucky was on Cam Williams. That is his second. He remains in the game, and Denzel Aberdeen has returned to the game with 2 fouls.
The horn set into a flex look.
Aberdeen, the Florida Gators transfer, was a great sixth man for the Gators last year, has taken on, especially with the injury to Jalen Lowe, much more responsibility now with Kentucky. Owe drives and is fouled.
Owe is so good at getting downhill, and he draws a ton of fouls as well. He had 20 against LSU, and he's really been shooting the three well over the last 3 games, especially. He's 8 of 14, Otega Owe.
Mark Pope was talking to us, and it applied to both Owe and Mo Diabate. He was talking about both of them one after the other. He said, you know, you've got to do well. You've got to focus on what you do well. He said, you've got to bake the cake. You can't just think about the icing. If you think about the icing, the cake's not going to be baked. If you bake the cake, the icing will take care of itself. It was great.
Cake. Now you got me thinking about cake. We had an experience yesterday in practice. I was sitting watching Tennessee practice with our director Mike Roig, and Rick Barnes was wearing out one of his players about not setting a screen or doing what he's supposed to do. Then he comes over to us and says, "You guys want a brownie?" I was like, that was the biggest flip of a switch I've ever seen.
And here's how good of a guy Rick Barnes was. I was unable to get here in time, so I for practice yesterday, saw him today. First thing I said to him is, "Hey, got any brownies yet?" He went, "Yeah, sure." And walked over and got the box.
You are such a mooch.
Absolutely. When it comes to brownies, there are no rules.
I was concentrating on the game. You're going, do you want nuts with your brownie or not?
11-point lead for the Volunteers.
Boy, Estrella just made a strong move on that other round.
Williams, he's going to get called for a double dribble there. Looked like he was in between shot fake, mid-range jumper, drive, and it's yet another Wildcats turnover, and Tennessee is taking advantage. They've got a double-digit lead here in Knoxville.
Tennessee has an 11-point lead in the first half on Kentucky because of the angles they're getting to get the ball inside. Jalen Carey getting inside position, the angle of the pass and the angle that Felix Okpara took on Malachi Marino, and then another great angle on the seal, the duck in by J.P. Estrella. And the paint is being dominated right now by Tennessee. When the Vols get a paint touch, they've scored 22 points, 9 of 16 from the field. When they don't, they're just shooting 40%. And that shows how important getting a ball reversal and then a piece of the paint to put this Kentucky defense, put them to a decision. Are they going to switch? Do they have to rotate? Good job by Tennessee to get the ball inside and play inside out.
They're also shooting the ball well. They're not turning it over. They've got 8 assists on 11 made field goals and just 1 turnover in about 12 and a half minutes of basketball. There's another basket by Gillespie and another assisted basket as well, and the lead has grown to 14.
Beautiful set out of the timeout. A horn set. They wound up in flex, came off with a gut cut up top, and then Gillespie came off the pin down. Beautifully run.
Yelovich the handoff to Williams. Where will Kentucky find offense? They're actually not shooting it poorly. They're just not getting many shots because of all the turnovers. Aberdeen little shovel pass blocked underneath by Brown.
Boy, Amari Evans came over and shut off that lane, and that allowed Brown to get over and block that shot with those long arms. Tennessee's got a lot of length. It's tough for them to find shirts if they're not tailored. But Evans comes over, just getting there, gave Brown the time to come over and block that shot. Evans just walled up in front of Marino, and he really didn't have a chance to do anything other than stop his progress.
And now a foul on Otega Owe, and that'll be the 7th foul committed by Kentucky. So Tennessee is into the bonus, and Gillespie knew it. He's already waiting at the free throw line.
And Tennessee's done a really good job of defending without fouling in this first half. The Vols have a foul to give before they put Kentucky in the bonus.
Our AFC divisional round matchup is set for tomorrow. It'll be the Texans and the Patriots at 2:45 Eastern on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app. Coverage begins with postseason NFL countdown at noon Eastern here on ESPN.
And there's a Tennessee connection to that game. Bishop Boswell of the Vols went to the same high school as Drake May. Myers Park High School in Charlotte, North Carolina.
How about the season Drake May put together?
And Drake Mays, one of his brothers, his older brother, Luke May, made that great shot against Kentucky in the NCAA tournament for North Carolina.
You and I had the pleasure of doing a lot of Luke May's basketball games at Carolina over the years. There's Boswell. Looks like he could play a little football if he wanted to.
He could play anything.
Yeah.
The bodies on these Tennessee Volunteers, their strength and conditioning program is amazing. I mean, these guys, all of them could, break a cinder block with their pinky.
It's a very good defensive team again this year, as it always seems to be under Rick Barnes. 11th in the nation in defensive efficiency per KenPom. But not quite, I think you'd agree, not quite at the level of some of Rick Barnes's previous teams that had guys like Zakai Ziegler, Jemai Mashak, but I think Coach Barnes still has some hopes that they are trending in that direction.
Well, their field goal defense is really good. I mean, they're number one in the league in scoring defense. They only allow 68 points a game, and they defend the three very well. They may not be not as experienced as the last two teams that Rick Barnes had that went to the Elite Eight. They rely on more freshmen, but they still play really hard. And I think their offense is good. Is that their rim finishing needs to get better. They only shoot 59% at the rim. That's got to improve.
Gillespie already with 14 points in this game. Tennessee leading by 14. And tipped out of bounds. Still volunteer ball with plenty of time on the shot clock.
Well, Jacoby Gillespie started his career out at Belmont, played 2 years for Belmont, then transferred to Maryland where he was an all-ACC performer. But he's been even better at Tennessee under Rick Barnes.
Post feed, and this one is knocked away as Amen couldn't connect with Estrella.
And that's where Amen probably has to be a little more selfish and take on that matchup with Chandler.
Oweh well short on the three, and the rebound down to the Vols.
Kentucky's not getting ball reversals.
Evans. Very good defender on him, and Oweh. And now back to Gillespie with 10 on the shot clock. Great little pocket there. Brown, who finishes strong.
Just that middle screen and roll, and Brown got out of it quick. There were 2 on the ball on Gillespie, and he found Brown, and who's going to stop that when he gets up ahead of steam? That was beautifully done.
Boy, Tennessee is executing at a high level at both ends of the floor right now.
And Kentucky's just dribbling.
Another turnover as Estrella and Evans combine to take it away from Oweh.
That ball was locked to the right side of the floor and never got out.
Another two-man game. Brown the swing. Amen the extra pass. Evans too strong on the three.
Boy, that didn't go in, but that was good offense.
Chandler no, and over the backboard. Boy, and every time you turn around, Rick Barnes is bringing more big guys back into the game. One of the guys coming out right now is Dwayne Brown II, but he's had a big impact on this one.
When you get that middle ball screen, and because J.P. Estrella's in that dunker spot right in the middle of the floor, frankly, that even leaves Malachi Marino there, but even Marino couldn't stop that with Brown with the head of steam. That was just a beautiful middle pick and roll. That middle third of the floor is difficult to stop. Now Kentucky looks like are they in a little zone now?
Amen steps up to the free throw line, misses the jumper. Chandler the rebound.
That looked like a little 2-3 zone.
Aberdeen into heavy traffic, and the foul on the floor. The basket will not count.
I mean, Kentucky's going to have to do something. I mean, Tennessee didn't really move the ball, so it looked like a zone to me, but they got to keep Tennessee out of the lane. And they got to get out in transition, and this was a transition opportunity, but there was a foul before Aberdeen could get up into that shot.
And that foul is on Jacoby Gillespie, his second. He does not normally come out of the game very often, but he might sit for the rest of the half now after picking up his second, especially with Tennessee holding a pretty sizable lead.
You know, Dan, when Kentucky's made to play a half-court game, and they've been made to play a half-court game in this first half, they don't look nearly as good. I mean, this is one of the best transition teams in the country. They average 19 fast break points a game. That's 8th in the country.
It feels like every week or two when you look at Kentucky, you're either thinking, okay, they got it, here they come, but then it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back for them. We had them at Alabama a couple of weeks ago, lost their conference opener pretty handily, and then they lost at home to Missouri, blew a lead late. Easily could have lost to Mississippi State. They were way down early there, but it came back to win rather handily. And then, of course, the win over LSU. Again, they trailed by 15 just a few minutes into the game. Trailed by 18 early in the second half, but managed to come back and win it by 1. But they are still a work in progress, to say the least, right now. Aim at the offensive rebound. Henderson into the game for Gillespie. Carry down low with Diabate, and it'll stay with Tennessee.
Looked like Diabate knocked that away with his right hand as Carey was making that move to the basket. Carey was operating right in the middle of that zone. And one thing you can't allow a zone to do is get you to stand around.
Carey out on the perimeter. 4 minutes to go in the half. Henderson. Abram. Somebody's got to get a shot off. It'll be Abram. He got a piece of the rim. And it is out of bounds to Kentucky. Maybe they're saying it did not hit the rim, but it'll be Kentucky ball either way. They're calling it a shot clock violation. And a timeout on the floor with 3:51 to go. Tennessee up 14.
Number one, it'd be quit turning the ball over. I mean, Kentucky's got 8 turnovers. They haven't run any coherent offense in the half court. They've knocked down a couple threes. But I agree with you guys. I mean, Tennessee is wearing out Kentucky in the paint. And that's got to change if the Wildcats want to turn this around.
This meeting with the officials is, we believe the ball did hit the rim, that it should not have been called a shot clock violation. You get another look at it there. And it did graze the rim, then hit the backboard, and then it was bouncing over towards one of the officials, Vlad Boyard-Tadal, and because the whistle had blown and the shot clock violation had been called, he caught the ball, he touched the ball while it was still in bounds. So what's the end result?
Well, as I'm sure you just pointed out, the ball did hit the rim. They reviewed it during the timeout. Because the ball didn't go out of bounds, they go to the arrow, and it's Tennessee ball. Tennessee has the arrow and will switch to Kentucky after they inbound it.
So it looks like both coaches were briefed on the situation.
Did not have a shot clock violation. The ball did hit rim. The ball was loose when the shot clock expired. So now it's an AP throw-in possession favoring Tennessee.
AP meaning alternate possession, the possession arrow. So Tennessee gets the ball, and the arrow will switch to Kentucky. That ball poked away by Chandler, and Carey commits a foul. So a good alert hustle play there with the defensive end by Colin Chandler, and he's going to be rewarded with a chance at the free throw line.
Yeah, active hands by Colin Chandler. And Chandler is a good free throw shooter. He shoots just under 80%.
He was starting at the beginning of the season, has not been starting lately, although he often is a finisher for Kentucky. And it was Chandler who made the long pass to the other free throw line to Malachi Marino for the game-winning shot against LSU on Wednesday.
That was just an amazing play, an uplifting play for Kentucky to win a game that they probably should have lost, and what a devastating loss for LSU. Back to the 2-3 zone, that middle wide open.
Who's the guy who will take advantage, maybe come to that SEC logo, try to make a play out of there. It'll be Carey here. Kicks it back out. Abram got it.
Abram is a good three-point shooter. He shoots 36%. That's his 13th three on the year. That lefty shot comes out with some side spin, but he makes it.
And how about Tennessee now 6 for 11 from three-point range. And better than 7 minutes since the Wildcats have made a field goal, and they won't make one on this trip, but it is out of bounds and it still belongs to them. Boy, and you can just see the frustration in the body language of the Kentucky players. Sometimes when they talk to an official, sometimes when they talk amongst themselves. Just 24 points here in 17 minutes.
Well, that is going to go down as a team offensive rebound for Kentucky. And that's the first offensive rebound of the game for the Wildcats.
Garrison off to Aberdeen. Carey switches on to him. Aberdeen finds Chandler in the corner.
Good job to chase him off that three-point line.
Chandler, nice pass. Johnson in and out of his hands, gets it back and hits. A broken play, but they finally get a basket.
And not an easy shot by the lefty Jasper Johnson along the baseline. And look how hard Kentucky has to work just to get a bucket.
So Jasper Johnson off the bench, easily the high scorer in this game for the Wildcats, now with 10. Carey got it back, missed again. And that goes back to your point about Tennessee as a team not converting enough around the rim.
Yeah, you can't get easier opportunities. You got to make those.
Chandler buries a three, and a little spark here for the visitors.
That's a 5-point swing for Kentucky. Those two misses by Carey led to transition for Kentucky, giving the Wildcats a little bit of life.
They've got it down to 12 with 2:10 to go here in the first half after the Chandler three. We're back in 30. Well, to benefit the V Foundation, Dickie V is giving away a Porsche at his annual gala, which takes place in May down in Sarasota. Go to v.org/BuyTal raffle to enter. $100 per entry. And Jay, as well, you well know all proceeds go directly to the V Foundation.
The V Foundation has done amazing work over the last 30 years. And you mentioned it, every dollar that you donate to the V Foundation goes directly to cancer research.
12-point lead, Tennessee, as Henderson, who made a couple of big shots in the win over A&M on Tuesday, misses a three. Gamble there, Chandler comes down with it, and now Kentucky can try to run some offense 5-on-5. Johnson, 2 more. He's got a dozen, and it's a 10-point game.
Well, Brandon Garrison ran some nice interference for him. But if Kentucky doesn't score early, it's difficult to score. They've got to attack early in that clock, especially when they get transition opportunities.
The season-ending injury to Lowe and the foul trouble today for Aberdeen. Jasper Johnson getting a bigger opportunity and making the most of it.
Boy, how long has Tennessee been stuck on 41? I mean, they've had some opportunities. And then just not getting organized defensively. Brandon Garrison screening off Brown, so he can't get there to challenge that shot by Johnson. This is a big possession right now for Kentucky.
And you can see the run that the Wildcats have been on over the last minute 20. Got a chance to get it into single digits on this trip. Johnson pulls up for a three. Diabate working hard, but it's going to be a... Is that a...
No, it's given to Tennessee. I think
it's the signal was Tennessee ball.
That was an odd situation.
Maybe Diabate had a foot out of bounds when he had a hand on the ball. Let's get another look.
That's got to be it.
Yeah. There was never a tie-up. There was no signal for a tie-up. And
yeah, his hand was out of bounds. That's what it was.
Yeah. So Tennessee ball with 1:07 to go in the half.
It's 1-2, 3/4 court pressure. That's just a needless turnover and another shot in the foot for Tennessee. They're just giving Kentucky too many, and that was not a forced turnover. That was an unforced error.
And right now, Rick Barnes has both Gillespie and Boswell on the bench because each of them has 2 fouls. Abram committed that turnover. He's out. And Amari Evans now joins Ethan Berg, the sophomore from Israel, in the backcourt, who just came into the game a few moments ago.
Now you want to stay behind that initial defender, so you're making the pass behind you to reverse it.
Big last minute here for Kentucky towards the end of the half. Diabate cradles it, off balance, lost it out of bounds, and it belongs to the Vols.
Well, both teams are going to have a lot to talk about at halftime. Shot clock winding down. Diabate, a lefty, going to that left side. Just that little swipe seemed to bother him a bit.
Berg and Amen combined to get the ball over as Owe almost gambled for a pick six right there.
But the key was Amen was behind the ball, so you're making that pass behind. That's a lot harder to pick off.
Amen in the post. Look at this matchup with Owe. Amen taller, room to shoot over the top of him, and a late whistle and a foul call, and Amen will get a pair at the line. Number 2 on Owe.
So many defenders, once a shooter rises up, I mean, they're smart to do it. It doesn't get called perhaps as often as it should. You just kind of throw your body into, you keep your hands back and your body down and use your body to hit the shooter.
So Amen at the line for a pair. A quiet first half for him. 2 points, 2 rebounds. His third point there. But Mark Pope has seen this story before often this year. For whatever reason, they have not been a good first half team. They've been much better in the second half. Pulled out some victories late. Indiana, St. John's, LSU, after trailing early. But boy, they dig themselves a hole, don't they?
It's easy to fix. You give your halftime speech before the game. The guys get oranges and Gatorade.
And maybe a brownie if you got some lying around.
Well, these guys are athletes. They don't treat their bodies like you do.
Closing seconds of the half. Berg, shot fake Evans, gets it off. And Tennessee will take an 11-point lead into the break here on its home court. 42-31, Jacoby Gillespie leading the way with a game-high 14. The Vols up on the Cats by 11 here midway through in Knoxville. We got 20 minutes more coming for you, but first time now for the Jeep Halftime Report. Kevin Connors, Seth Greenberg, and Kevin Peets. And welcome back to the SEC on ESPN. We are here in Knoxville, and this is the halftime act. A balancing act, to say the least. All's well that ends well. Impressive stuff, to say the least. An 11-point lead for Tennessee heading to the second half. Dan Shulman, Jay Billis. Let's be honest, Kentucky just falling short in a number of different areas in the first half.
Well, the Kentucky starters only scored 11 points in that first half, and really the offense came from Jasper Johnson. Colin Chandler had 6, but Jasper Johnson had 12 points. And Tennessee really dominated the paint. They dominated the glass. Only 1 offensive rebound for Kentucky in that first half. But really the key was the last 4 minutes. When Jacoby Gillespie went out with that second foul, he stayed out the rest of the first half, and that's when I think Tennessee allowed Kentucky really to get back into the game, only 11 down.
Well, speaking of Gillespie, let's take a look at who is in the zone, brought to you by AutoZone.
Well, Jacoby Gillespie in that first half wound up with 14 points and 4 assists. He is such a tough cover. Otega Owe had him for most of that first half when he was in the game, and Owe's an outstanding defender, but still Gillespie able to come off screen, working off pick and roll situations, was able to free himself, and an excellent transition guard as well. But Tennessee really had great success getting the ball into the paint. They had 16 points in the paint in that first half, and that included a number of opportunities that Tennessee's big guys didn't finish at the rim. You finish some of those plays, and this is a larger lead starting the second half.
At one point, it was a 17-point advantage for Tennessee. It is 11 going to the second half. Kentucky also played a big stretch of that first half without Denzel Aberdeen, who's got the ball in his hands right now. He picked up a couple of early fouls. The Vols have won 100 of the last 101 games here in this building when they have held a halftime lead. The one exception last year against Kentucky. So can Mark Pope's team find a way to win another game in which it trails heading into the second half? This is like Groundhog Day for Kentucky, Jay. This has been the story for them time and time again this year.
Well, it is not a good position to be in, but the fact that they've done so well in second halves has to give them some confidence.
Good look for Owe. Too strong. Contact underneath. And is it another Tennessee foul? I believe it is. I think it's Okpara.
Tennessee did such a solid job in the first half of playing good physical defense without fouling. They picked up 2 fouls in the first possession, but Bishop Boswell did a really nice job of contesting that 3 by Otega Owe and making him adjust it a bit before he almost another turnover.
And it is. Aberdeen stepped out of bounds trying to save the ball. So I think both coaches have reason to be unhappy just 16 seconds into the second half.
That's 2 turnovers just on out of bounds underneath for Kentucky. And Felix Okpara again on the ball, making it difficult. You got to lob it up there. And that allows defenders to adjust.
Boswell coming off that 13-point, 11-rebound game of the double overtime win over A&M. Played 43 of the 50 minutes. Gillespie stumbled, regains his feet, and knocks down the baseline, Jay.
Boy, how about that little hesitation move? Yelovich had to switch out on him, and he just has such good body balance.
Boswell just took a shot to the face from Owe. A foul underneath. Boswell slow to get up. Rick Barnes wants to know why nobody made a call on that, why none of the officials saw it. And I wonder if he is going to convince them that they should have a look at it.
He'd have to use an appeal to do that, that it was some sort of flagrant action.
Definitely thinks it warrants being looked at. Don Daly is the lead official, and Daly is saying to Rick Barnes, it's okay, Rick, I got this.
Now the officials can look at this on their own without being asked or without an appeal.
The following play is under review by the officials.
So that's to your point. This is the officials deciding themselves. This is not Rick Barnes asking for an appeal. Now, Boswell went down pretty hard as Owe tried to get position and kind of swung that left arm around and caught him in the face.
Now, the issue is going to be, was there contact? And it looked like there was. I don't think Boswell was faking that. But was it a basketball move? And that is not a basketball move.
No. And as you and I have discussed, because we have seen some version of this in a number of the games that we have done this year, when it's above the shoulders, anything to the jaw or the face.
After review, contact was ruled incidental.
Oh, wow.
We'll play from the foul.
Incidental contact is the ruling. I would have guessed they would have gone the other way on that. So nothing on Owe. A few seconds later, the whistle blew for a foul on Jalen Carey. So 3 fouls committed by Tennessee inside the first minute of play here in the second.
Yeah, the first 2 defensive possessions, 3 fouls.
Now Boswell is pleading his case with one of the officials.
Now you can see Rick Barnes was just telling one of the officials, you could read his lips, he said, all I'm saying is officiate the rule book.
So now the crowd's in a bad mood as well as Owe misses the first. Conversation continuing between Boswell and one of the officials, Vladimir Boyar-Tadal. Owe missed them both. Came into the game a 76% free throw shooter. Gillespie, enough time and space, can't hit the 3 from the wing. Carey keeps it alive. And that will be Tennessee ball. That is not over and back because there was no possession before the ball went into the backcourt. It was just a loose ball. Carey takes the feed from Gillespie, smothered by Marino.
Marino took a shot, was knocked back, and still was able to get up and block that shot.
Marino, a 7-foot freshman from Georgetown, Kentucky. The becoming a big part of this team in recent weeks.
So they can't get it into Marino. He's got Gillespie on him.
And now Aberdeen draws a foul. It's going to be Okpara. That'll be his second in the team's fourth already.
Yeah, you don't want to foul there. Okpara can do more damage by trying to block that shot. Make Aberdeen finish a tough 2. That's just not a good swipe from up top.
He actually reached in twice. Could have gotten called earlier. So 4 fouls, all on big guys here to start the second half. And Rick Barnes has Dwayne Brown the second at the scorers table to check in. It's going to be Carey coming out. Yelovich will leave for Kentucky, and Mo Diabate will come in.
Well, Aberdeen was outstanding in the second half against LSU. Wound up with 17 for the game. I think he had all 17 in the second half.
He did. And he played all 20 minutes of the second half, as did Owe. Mark Pope really shortened the bench. They scored 22 points in the first half of that game and 53 points in the second to pull out a 1-point victory.
But it's tough to make a comeback when you're missing free throws. And 4 free throw opportunities. 2 by Aberdeen, 2 by Owe, and 3 of them missed.
And now just 7 for 13 on the game. Little pressure here by Williams, but Gillespie gets it over with ease.
One-man press break.
Nearly stolen by Owe. Out of bounds, though, off Gillespie. And it is Kentucky ball. And that's where Owe can really differentiate himself, by gambling in the passing lane.
Jacoby Gillespie came off that screen wide instead of curling it. And that gave Otega Owe, who was running full speed, not quite locking and trailing, to get out in the passing lane and knock that ball away.
And Boswell was just taken out of the game after that pass and got an earful from his coach. A 3 for Aberdeen, and Kentucky has it into single digits.
Now this puts a little bit of game pressure, just an easy screen, and Dwayne Brown was not up to touch. He was playing almost drop coverage, and Aberdeen just pulled up.
Tennessee again gets it over. Ament with the finish.
Oh, what a beautiful pass. It was a great cut by Nate Ament. That's how you break pressure to score.
And that is his first field goal of the afternoon. Don't look now, though. Denzel Aberdeen has gotten hot. Ament the foul on Marino again as Tennessee tries to score in transition.
Well, you have to attack pressure at the point it's applied. Again, off the ball screen, just puts the brakes on, and Ament keeps going where his momentum was taking him. And a terrific pass and a nice cut. That's how you attack pressure, full court pressure to score. You know,
Aberdeen already with more points in this half than he had in the first half. And as Jay mentioned, all 17 of his points against LSU came in the second half.
I remember he picked up those 2 fouls early in the first half and came out for an extended period of time.
What do you like the best about Nate Ament's game?
Just his versatility. I mean, Nate Ament is just oozing with talent. He's multi-skilled, great length, and he's a two-way player. He plays hard on both ends of the floor. Knock down an open 3. He's good in the mid-range. He's probably better in the mid-range than he is from 3. But that 7'1" wingspan and his ability to get to the free throw line, he's got a ton of talent. He can affect games in a lot of different ways.
Makes them both back to a 10-point lead, 2.5 minutes into the second. Gillespie trying to slow down Aberdeen. Diabate looking for help. Brandon Garrison into the game for the Cats. Good ball pressure here by Tennessee. Aberdeen, the look away, the feed. Diabate no, follow no, and it's Tennessee ball.
Or even challenged at the rim. Those are plays Kentucky has to make on the road. You have to score that.
Definitely signs of life from Kentucky here in the second half, but it is still a 10-point game.
You have to look inside there. I thought Brown was open.
Gillespie weaving his way through traffic. Tough pass. at the feet of Okpara, and that's a turnover.
Nothing to be gained there. That's when you pass it back out. Gillespie, he was snaking that pick and roll. That might have been a better opportunity to just pull up there for that short jumper.
You see the turnovers. At one point in this game, Kentucky had 8 and Tennessee only 1, and now it's almost even.
A good help by Brown on that last ball screen in the middle.
Aberdeen steps in, off to Williams. Good recovery there by Gillespie. Williams keeps the dribble alive and reverses it up and in.
Boy, really nice move by Cam Williams. You want to take away his three-point shot because Williams has been shooting it well of late. He's got 23 threes on the year, shooting about 35%.
A Tulane transfer with his first field goal of the afternoon to get him back within 8.
Boy, Cam Williams had a big pick-6 turnover late in the game against LSU that really helped change that game.
Shot clock at 5. Garrison might have gotten away with one. Brown has to put it up. Kentucky ball.
Good defense by Kentucky, especially on Gillespie. They're showing him a lot of bodies now off screens.
Aberdeen at the point for Kentucky.
Got to switch. Well, you score here, that puts a lot of game pressure on Tennessee.
Trying to get by Brown. Can't. Diabate trying to make the play. Spins to his strong side.
Goaltending.
Count the basket. A goaltending call on Felix Okpara. And Rick Barnes is not happy. At one point, the Volunteers led by 17. But Jay, Kentucky is now down only by 6.
Well, Cam Williams taking it to the other side of the bucket to shield it from a block shot. Kentucky just 2 possessions down.
The Kentucky Wildcats came into the season with very high hopes. Second year under Mark Pope, brought in a lot of highly thought of players through the transfer portal, but ups and downs really the entire season. Entered conference play on a 4-game winning streak, but then lost their first 2 at Alabama, at home to Missouri, won their last 2. But now they know that without Jalen Lowe for the season, he was in and out of the lineup all season long. Jaden Quaintance not playing again today, missing his 3rd game in a row with swelling in his surgically repaired knee. It's just tough to get a read on this team, Jay, from game to game.
Well, it's a team that we expected to be elite defensively, and they've done a good job defensively, but they haven't been elite. Here's that 1-2-2 3/4 court pressure. I think Tennessee needs to get the ball inside. When they get a paint touch, they have been really efficient. When they don't, their efficiency really drops.
Out of this timeout, Jacoby Gillespie is on the bench. Ethan Berg is back into the game. Just played a minute or 2 at the end of the first half. Boswell off to Brown, and when Brown gets the ball, he's got one thing on his mind, and that is getting to the 10.
And that should be the only thing on his mind when he catches in that short roll situation. If you draw 2 defenders, you can kick it. But they've been efficient in that short roll.
Oweh for 3. Short. Offensive rebound, Diabate.
There haven't been many of those for Kentucky. That's their 4th of the game.
Oweh turns the corner, lofts it up, didn't get it on the rim, and here comes Boswell.
Got Estrella down low with the rim run.
One-on-one with him and Garrison down on the block. They swing it to Ament. Estrella at the elbow. Knocked away by Garrison. Still Tennessee ball.
The idea was right, but that's too close a quarters to make that pass. That little short roll to Brown, then Garrison's got to come over, and Estrella is right there in offensive rebounding position should there be a miss.
Berg into the paint and got caught in the air and bounced it out of bounds.
That's why you want to play off 2 feet, Dan. I mean, there was nothing to do once Berg got to that second step. And if you play off 1 foot, there's nowhere to go but up in the air, and there's nothing to do with it. You come to a 2-foot jump stop there. You can drop it off to Estrella. Maybe you got Ament on the left side.
So Berg back on the bench, Gillespie back in the game, and for Kentucky, Jasper Johnson, who was great in the first half, 5 for 6 and a team-high 12 points. He is in for the first time in the second half.
And now he gets to play with Aberdeen on the floor, and he can just concentrate on scoring.
Diabate, lefty up, and that ball looked like it was on the rim. Yeah.
That's no good.
Wave it off. That's basket interference.
Well, you always know that Diabate wants to get back to that left hand.
Diabate didn't necessarily agree with the call, but in live time it looked like
it was Garrison.
Oh, it was Garrison, yeah. A little closer than I thought it was in live time. Are they going to take a look at it?
It might have been Estrella that got it first. So that would be a goaltend. If Estrella got it first, and that's what they're looking at. And Mark Pope, they've always got one assistant on each team.
The following play was ruled Kentucky basket interference. Coaches challenged by Kentucky.
It looked like J.P. Estrella got his fingers on that ball before Brandon Garrison did.
And the officials will look at it, and we will take a media timeout at the same time. We'll have the resolution for you when we come back. So during the timeout, the officials continue to look at the monitor. We have a challenge from Kentucky coach Mark Pope on should it have been called basket interference on the Wildcats. And it's a really interesting play because the ball is on the cylinder, but you can see on replay the first player to touch it is J.P. Estrella of Tennessee. But was the ball out of the cylinder when Estrella touches the ball? Watch this. Estrella touches it, but it looks like it's outside the cylinder. And then the ball is touched by Garrison, maybe when it's back in the cylinder.
After video review, the coach's challenge is successful. 10 for blue, touches the ball off the rim and tips it to the basket. Successful, made basket. It'll be White's ball, Tennessee out of bounds.
So the call is that the ball was not in the cylinder when Garrison touched it. So instead of basket interference, that's a good basket for Kentucky.
Yeah, this is a really tough call. Now, when J.P. Estrella at Tennessee touches it, it's off the rim. Now, I don't agree with this call, but look, it was a tough one to make. But I think it was over the rim when Garrison touched it in the cylinder.
That Estrella kind of knocked it back into the cylinder.
Yes.
Yeah. We're talking about fractions of an inch and a difficult call to make. So a successful challenge. And Kentucky playing much better at both ends of the floor. They were down 17 at one point in this game, down 11 at the half. They're down only 6 right now.
And that was a really big call to get them to 2 possessions.
Deep one for Gillespie.
I mean, Gillespie hasn't been getting open off initial action. You have to make multiple efforts against this Tennessee team with Gillespie.
He's got 4 threes, 19 points, and now Estrella is called for the foul. He is pleading his case that he went straight up and down, but he might have lowered those arms just enough.
You had a back screen for Ament, then Gillespie coming off the little pin down by Estrella. That just gave him enough room, and here's the foul. The referee saying Estrella came into him. I think he was going straight up.
It's already the 15th foul on Tennessee here in the half. Mo Diabate at the line. We have seen a ton of Diabate over the last now 2.5 years, 2 years with Alabama. It still feels like he's trying to find his spot on this Kentucky team to be the best version of himself. What do you see from him this year?
Well, I think it goes back to that analogy that was used by Mark Pope about baking the cake. I think he's been trying to prove that he can knock down a perimeter shot when the things he does extraordinarily well is defend, rebound. I mean, he's relentless, chases down every loose ball. What a bad pass.
Gillespie turns it over. Aberdeen finds Diabate, got his miss, and lays it in, and it's down to 5.
I think Tennessee is going to look back at the last 4 minutes of the first half as letting Kentucky really get back into this game.
Boswell for 3. Not there. And a hold underneath on Garrison. He was just dragging Estrella away from the play.
Just a simple pass. Looked like somebody got a piece of it up top. And that led to transition for Kentucky. And then Mo Diabate, even when he missed his, he was Moses Malone to get his own rebound. That's the type of player that Mo Diabate is. He's motor, energy, playing hard all the time. He can guard multiple spots. You know, he's at his most impact with his energy.
Jalen Carey back into the game for the Vols. Nate Amen driving baseline. Couldn't turn the corner on Diabate. 7 to shoot.
Boswell calling for a screen.
Okpara, he won't shoot it from there.
Good fake.
Amen steps in and hits it. The Volunteers needed that.
That shot fake got the defender to fly by, and so good in the mid-range, but kept his poise late in the clock.
And that's got the crowd back into it here as well. Marino one-on-one with Okpara. Chandler. It goes.
And he got hit by Nate Amen as he was flying by.
And this is as close as Kentucky has been in a long, long time. A post touch for Carey. Kicks it back out. Knocked out of bounds. Still Tennessee ball. With a timeout on the floor, 11:26 to go. Mr. Billis, we get a brand new ball game here in the second half.
Well, Kentucky proving that it is a second half team. Down 11 at halftime. They are back within striking distance. Great shot fake by Nate Amen, and the pull-up just as the shot clock was winding down, and Colin Chandler on the other end. Ball kicked out, Amen flying at him, and knocks down the three.
Nate Amen coming off a couple of great games for the Volunteers. Had a very quiet first half, but he has gotten it going here in the second half, and they need him. Their lead is down to 4 as we take a look now at our Wooden Watch presented by Principal Nate Amen, one of the 25 players on the mid-season Wooden Award list.
Well, Nate Amen averages 15 points a game. He's the leading rebounder for this Tennessee Volunteer team. He's active in passing lanes. He's got 2 steals in this one. A lot of poise at the end of the shot clock with that shot fake and 1 dribble pull-up.
Tennessee once led by 17. It's down to 4. They're the team struggling with turnovers right now. A nice set play out of the timeout, though, and Chandler has to foul Okpara.
A screening situation on the open side on the left. And with Okpara and Gillespie involved in that, it forces you to switch. And Gillespie trying to lob it up to Okpara with Colin Chandler on him. Chandler wound up having to foul him.
Gillespie to kick.
Can't let him reject that.
Amen for 3.
You have to make Jacoby Gillespie use that screen. He rejects it, and the corner defender has to come off a corner shooter.
And Amen is feeling it and heating up here in the second half. Tennessee by 7. Not for long. Aberdeen is hot as well.
Best ball movement of the game. Diabate got a piece of the paint, kicked it out. They made the extra pass.
Kentucky's got it down to 4 again. Gillespie gets a piece of the paint. Blocked by Marino. Oh, did Johnson get away with a walk? Loose ball at the other end belongs to Tennessee.
Boy, what an opportunity for Kentucky.
Lots of traffic and a chance for 3 for Amari Evans.
Amari Evans had his best game against Arkansas with 16. He went 7 for 7 in that game. He's athletic. Rick Barnes says he's a fearless player, and he showed no fear taking on 2 defenders with that left-hand drive, and through the contact with the right hand, making the adjustment in the air to get that to go. He never took his eyes off the rim. Your eyes make layups.
Averages about 11 minutes off the bench. Just under 4 points, 3 rebounds per game, and he's given them a 7-point lead.
That was a huge play.
21,000 strong here in Knoxville. Marino blocked by Okpara.
Well, it looked like Okpara got hit by Nate Ament. A lot of contact on that play. A beautiful pass on that drive. Okpara recovers, but I thought that was a foul on Ament.
Okpara 4th in the SEC in blocks. This is the first game of a very busy day in the SEC, including a terrific game coming up next between a couple of ranked teams. It'll be Florida at Vandy right after us on ESPN, as once again it's down to 4.
Well, you just can't leave Colin Chandler open like that, where he shoots it without having to put it on the deck. You shoot it from the catch spot, he's making it.
We got a good one going here in Knoxville. The Cats have come to life here since the break. 4-point game, and we're back in 30. As mentioned, this is just the beginning of a great day and night of men's college basketball action here on ESPN today. We told you Florida and Vandy, 2 other really good teams of the SEC. They are next. #1 team in the nation, Arizona at UCF. Johnny Dawkins' team having a terrific year. A&M at Texas. Sean Miller's team is playing well right now. They've beaten Alabama. They've beaten Vandy. And then the nightcap at 8 Eastern, BYU and Texas Tech. How much fun does that game sound?
A.J. Devonsa, one of the best players, not only one of the best freshmen, one of the best players in the country. And Texas Tech has J.T. Toppin, the reigning Big 12 Player of the Year. And then Christian Anderson, who was spectacular in that second half against Duke in Madison Square Garden, where the Red Raiders wound up beating Duke.
And you and I are going to Lubbock next week. Very excited for that. Houston is there. Those 2 teams have already met this year. A very close win for the Cougars in an incredibly, not surprisingly, hard-fought, intense game. And it'll be quite a scene down there in Lubbock next week.
Boy, Jacoby Gillespie just shed Colin Chandler as a defender off that floppy action. Floppy action is where you have a screener on each block, and Gillespie can choose which way to come off. And he really did a great job of setting up that cut to get open in that left corner. That was beautifully done by Gillespie.
Out there with Boswell, Evans, Okpara, and Ament. Gillespie, left hand, no. Follow, no, but a foul.
They let him reject the screen again. And you want to force him to use that screen where he's going into bodies. If you can turn down a ball screen, that's just a straight line drive to the basket.
So in the simplest terms, for those who don't know, rejecting the screen, going the other way, not the way the screener is set up. So.
And you have to force him to use the screen. You know, he's basically a no reject guy. You can't allow him to refuse a ball screen.
Gillespie might have been hit in the mouth, but appears to be okay. And he's back on the court heading to the free throw line. He has 19 points and 6 assists already in this game. I don't know that there's been a season in recent memory where there have been as many gifted point guards as we are seeing this year in college basketball.
Just gifted players. If you play in the SEC and you don't get hit in the face at least once a game, you didn't play. You didn't get in the game.
Diabate, his 3rd. Couple of free throws for Gillespie.
Otega Owe has to get going. He's only got 2 points, has not yet made a field goal in this game.
Does not have a rebound in this game either.
And here's a guy averaging 21 a game in SEC play. Not a good foul by Okpara. That's just not a good foul.
His 3rd, team 6th.
He fouled 40 feet from the basket.
You know, back to your point about Owe, he has 4 consecutive games of 20 or more points, all of them in conference play coming into this one, and he has basically been a non-factor here today.
Yeah, he's had 6 out of his last 8 have been 20 or more. An efficient 20-point games. He's not taking a ton of shots to get them.
Owe into Marino, got it back. Got it back again, missed. Weak side, Marino, missed. Chance after chance for Kentucky. It's Tennessee ball, and Mark Pope is jumping mad, thinking that should be Kentucky's basketball.
Boy, Kentucky unable to finish around the rim. Always seeing a lot of bodies. They're going to take another look at it.
This, yeah.
Mark Pope was right there And he felt like he saw it live, but got video confirmation from one of his assistants.
So this is a coach's challenge. Remember, you get one. If you're right, you get another. And he used one on the basket interference. So this is his second and final.
Coach from Kentucky has challenged the play.
This is his second and final challenge.
Watch Diabate. He got a hand in there. Like, Ament's grabbing it, but I'm not sure it didn't go last off of Diabate here.
Is there
there's going to be another fingernail deal. Yeah, that's the big question. Is there enough to overturn it?
Clear and definitive evidence.
Yeah, watch Diabate's left hand.
Yeah.
I think it might have gone off Diabate last. This is really close. You're looking at the finger of Diabate and then the left finger of
I don't know.
Nate Ament. Yeah, it might have gone off Ament.
Yeah.
That's a great angle there.
It might have been off Ament, just because his fingers are a little bit longer than Diabate's are.
I think if you ask any official, they'll tell you out of bounds is the hardest call.
Owen Short, one of the officials, telling us successful challenge.
Successful challenge by Kentucky coach. It will be Kentucky ball and not charged a timeout.
Call overturned, Kentucky ball. They are not charged a timeout. But again, by my math, Jay, so now they challenged the basket interference. They were right, so they got a second. They challenged this, right again. But that's it. You don't get more than two.
Exactly. And one thing that the Rules Committee should do is put the appeal in with challenges. There shouldn't be appeals and challenges. They should all be in the same bucket.
So Mark Pope is 2 for 2 on challenges today, and it's Kentucky ball, down by 6 with a ton of time still left.
Got a switch now. Diabate being guarded by Gillespie.
Aberdeen, who's been big here in the second half, steps in. Soft touch to knock it down.
Boy, he's been the offense in this second half for Kentucky. Denzel Aberdeen has been aggressive.
This is the third game in a row where he has really stepped up. 16, 17, and today 16 points in his last 3 games.
But Kentucky just not organized defensively as the ball was coming up court. Diabate having to close out to Bishop Boswell, and he just took advantage of Diabate being out of position going into his body.
And Mark Pope's got a decision to make, and he just made it. That is the 4th on Diabate. They will get much smaller. Jasper Johnson comes in, which means Otega Owe slides to the 4 spot, but Rick Barnes, by his standards, has a bit of a smaller lineup too. Nate Ament is at the 4 spot right now for Tennessee. They don't have a Jalen Carey or somebody like that in there at the 4.
Well, I still think Tennessee should look to play inside out.
Aberdeen puts it up, not this time. Out of bounds to the Vols.
Mari Evans doing a nice job getting it to the defensive glass to help out. Pinned that ball to the backboard, just couldn't come down with it.
Kentucky has never led in this game. This is as close as they've been since very early in the game. Spin by Gillespie. Evans hesitates and hits.
They went with the horn set, cleared out the right side so Gillespie could go one-on-one. Just a really good drive to the basket by Evans.
So Tennessee doing just enough right now to keep Kentucky at arm's length. Owe got it. He needed that. They needed that, and it's down to 3.
Boy, Tennessee has to stay on the floor on fakes. They're flying on fakes, and that's opening up these drives and putting them into rotation.
Owe's first field goal of the game. Hara to clean it up for Tennessee.
Boy, that horn set where they clear the right elbow just opens up the lane for Gillespie. And if you go to block the shot, that opens up the offensive glass.
Marino with great low position, and he is going to the line with a chance for 3.
Just sealed off Nate Ament and was wide open under the basket.
A timeout on the floor, Jay, and this has turned into a whale of a game as the teams are going back and forth.
Tennessee clearing off that right side. There's no help. and nobody can keep Okpara off the offensive glass.
The Miami Hurricanes head home to play for a championship. Touchdown, Indiana! Electric! It's what every little kid dreams of.
The CFP National Championship, presented by AT&T, kicks off Monday, January 19th at 7:30 p.m.
And what a scene it's going to be Monday night. The Hurricanes playing on their own home field as they take on #1 and undefeated the Indiana Hoosiers. Vernon Carey Sr., dad of Jalen, dad of former Duke Blue Devil Vernon Jr., is getting on a plane and going down to Miami, we are told, to get ready for the football game Monday night. It's a pretty good weekend. Watch your son play some basketball here in Knoxville, then hop on a plane and go see your alma mater play for the national championship.
Mendoza seems like he's too good to be true.
Yeah, he does.
He must do something wrong.
No, I don't think so. His interviews are fantastic. His interviews are as good as his ability on the field.
Maybe he doesn't put his dirty clothes in the hamper.
Ament driving to the basket, and he's going to the line.
Now give credit there to Felix Okpara because he screened off the help. You couldn't get to Nate Ament to try to block that shot. A good pass ahead, but watch Okpara underneath. He screens off Brandon Garrison, so Garrison can't get there to bother that shot and winds up fouling in addition. That's just really smart by Felix Okpara.
Ament now has 15 points. 12 of them have come here in the second half.
And that was a needed answer to that three-point play by Malachi Marino.
Mo Diabate is back in the game for Mark Pope now with 4 fouls. Aberdeen's been huge here in the second half for the Wildcats. Owe turns the corner and draws the foul.
Now, a lot of times you're going to tell a player catch and go. With Otega Owe, you tell him go and catch. When he catches it on the run, who's going to get in his way? And to your point, he turned the corner, and you're going to have to foul him. He's such an aggressive, strong driver, especially going to his right.
4 on Okpara, and yeah, it feels like 99% of the time, and this is not an accident, he's on the left side of the court because he wants to turn the corner. He's a strong right-handed driver, and he makes the most of those drives. So Okpara's got 4. He'll sit. Dwayne Brown II returns. Owe, the preseason SEC Player of the Year. Mark Pope talking to us before the game about, how different it is for a guy. You come in, you transfer in from Oklahoma, has a great year last year, but maybe wasn't, the top guy on the scouting report every single time last year, but he couldn't sneak up on anybody this season. Amen. 2 defenders on him. And he's going back to the line, and there's a perfect example of how much more aggressively Nate Ament has been playing in recent games.
Well, he seeks out the contact, and he draws a ton of fouls. Against Texas A&M, he drew 10. Probably got fouled here, but got fouled there. But definitely as he's going up for the shot. But he knew he got contact the first time and just sought that contact out to draw the foul and get to the foul line.
And a good free throw shooter, 75% on the season, 7 for 8 so far today.
Right now, with Jalen Carey and Dwayne Brown II in the game for Tennessee, that's not a lot of shot blocking. So I think Kentucky can attack the rim. And can Tennessee keep Kentucky out of the lane?
They keep trading baskets back and forth. Kentucky getting close, but unable to get all the way back and potentially into the lead. 6.5 to go. Aberdeen for 3. Off the back of the iron, rebound Owe. Owe in the corner lost it, but it is still Kentucky ball with 10 on the shot clock.
Well, Tennessee was flying all around to take away three-point opportunities for Kentucky. They get inside that line and make it 2, that's one thing, but the Vols were not going to give up a three.
And with good reason. The Wildcats are 6 for 9 from three-point range here in the second half. It's kind of like the LSU game during the week. They were 2 for 12 in the first half from three and 8 for 11 in the second half. Shot clock at 5. Aberdeen's a long way from the basket. Keeps the dribble alive and finishes.
Boy, what a great job by Aberdeen to keep his primary defender on his hip after that screen.
He's now got 18, Jay, 14 of them here in the second half. Gillespie nowhere to go. Trying to get the ball to Carey. Now calls for a screen. Rejects it again. Feeds Carey. Lays it in.
Boy, allowing him to refuse these screens has been a problem for Kentucky. Every time he's refused one, Tennessee's gotten good stuff off of it.
And they rise to their feet again here in Knoxville. Better than 21,000. Diabate blocked. Brown got him.
Boy, what moron was saying that Tennessee didn't have a lot of shot blocking in there.
We'll scratch that from the replay.
Great
Don't
block.
worry about it. Brown. And Boswell fouled by Chandler.
Refusing the ball screen that puts 2 on the ball, and rolling right down the lane was Jalen Carey. And what a great block right out of the hands of Diabate by Dwayne Brown II. And that was on a second jump. He left his feet on the first fake and still was able to get up and block that second effort.
2 shots for Bishop Boswell, the sophomore from Charlotte. Lots more great games coming your way. How much fun is Florida and Vandy going to be? The Commodores coming off their first loss, beaten by Texas. There's no question Florida's playing better. Just ask Rick Barnes after what the Gators did to the Vols last weekend. Number 1 Arizona at UCF, A&M and the Horns, and then BYU and Texas Tech has fun written all over it at 8 o'clock Eastern time tonight. That is a friendly hometown bounce there for Boswell.
And one that Tennessee's going to need every point in this game.
Boswell's on Aberdeen. Jasper Johnson.
That's a walk.
Tied up, got out of it, almost turned it over. A ragged possession right now for Kentucky. Garrison, no. Tip, no. Tennessee ball.
Boy, Kentucky has had point-blank opportunities that they haven't finished.
Oweh comes up with a loose ball and finishes.
Boy, just a mishandling of the ball. Looked like Gillespie was trying to give it up to Brown, and Oweh was able to take it the other way. That's Kentucky when it's at its best in transition. There's been precious little of that in this ball game against Tennessee.
Inside 4 minutes left in regulation. Kentucky hanging around with Tennessee. They've got it down to 4 as Otega Oweh, their leading scorer, has come to life in recent minutes. A pick 6, something he is awfully good at. And this game is close. Kevin, sounds good. This one did not look like it was going to be much of a contest midway through, even into the later stages of the first half. But Jay, you talked about it for people just joining us. The last 4 minutes of the first half are really what led to Kentucky getting back into this game here in the second half.
Well, Jacoby Gillespie went out of the game for Tennessee with his second foul, and it really stalled the Tennessee offense. Kentucky able to go into halftime down 11. And in the second half, Denzel Aberdeen has been fantastic. Kentucky's had good performances from Colin Chandler and Jasper Johnson off the bench. And Jacoby Gillespie and Nate Ament have really been the offense for Tennessee.
It's just a 4-point game, just under 4 minutes to go. Kentucky, by the way, has only turned it over once in the second half.
That's just what I was about to say. They've stopped turning the ball over, and that's a big factor in getting back into this game and having a chance to win.
Shot clock running down on the balls. Gillespie fouled way out on the perimeter by Marino with just 3 seconds left on the shot clock.
Marino was trying to help off that screen and hedge, but Gillespie's smart, just got right into his body and picked up that foul, and that's just not a smart foul by the freshman.
Number 4 on Marino, and it's an 87% free throw shooter. Oops, on the line. I can't believe he did that.
You don't believe in that stuff, do you?
No, but it does happen a lot.
They can't hear you. Well, guys miss a lot. It's like that no-hitter thing.
Yeah.
It's a
1 of 2. 5-point game. The crowd trying to lend its energy to the Volunteers at the defensive end of the floor.
Nate Ament guarding Otega Owe over in the corner.
Aberdeen the lob. Diabate the kick. Good recovery by Ament. Spin by Owe, around and out. Offensive rebound, Diabate. Floater, Aberdeen. 3-point game. He has been sensational in the second half.
So many more offensive rebounding opportunities for Kentucky in this second half. They hardly had any, if any, in the first half.
16 points in the second half for Denzel Aberdeen, 20 on the afternoon. Boswell into Carey, too strong, tip no. And it is staying with the Volunteers.
What is that now for Carey? 2 of 10 in the game? He's had opportunities around the rim. He's just been unable to finish. It's actually 3 of 11, excuse me.
But for a guy who never shoots from more than like 2-3 feet away from the rim, he has gotten himself in good position. He's gotten the rebounds, just hasn't been able to convert. Gillespie no. Soaring for the rebound is Nate Ament. Now driving. Elevates. Ball is loose. Boswell had it, but falling out of bounds, he turned it over.
Akpara kept it alive.
2:20 to go. It's a 1-possession game.
Got the switch.
Akpara on Aberdeen. Gives it up, gets it back. Now Carey on him for the tie. Diabate tips it back out, and it is Kentucky ball. What a tip there by Mo Diabate.
Diabate is just relentless on the glass, and that's why Mark Pope put him back into the ball game, even with 4 fouls.
3 of the Kentucky players in the game right now, each with 4. Chandler, Diabate, and Marino. 2 minutes remain in regulation. Chandler gets it back. Drives on Carey. Finds Diabate, and it's a 1-point game.
Well done by Colin Chandler to play off 2 feet. Came to a 2-footed jump stop and then just pivoted back to pass it into the middle of the lane.
What was once a 17-point lead for the home team is down to 1 with a minute and a half to go. Gillespie has to pick up his dribble. Gets it back from Akpara. 5 on the shot clock. Driving on Owe. And is fouled.
His ability to change pace. Kentucky trying so hard to get the ball out of his hands. They made him use the first screen and then the second. But he just gets past Owe. He got clipped a little by Akpara, but his momentum took him right into Gillespie, trying to stop him from shooting.
Gillespie is a crafty player. Back to the free throw line for 2.
But Gillespie, this is his 8th 20-point game of the season for Tennessee.
And again, a guy who is almost automatic at the line and misses one. Tension here in Knoxville. 2-point game. And Gillespie will come out as Amari Evans will come back in on defense.
This gives Gillespie a chance to take a breather before the last minute or so. And you put a really good defender into the game in Amari Evans.
Each team with a couple of timeouts remaining. Tennessee has the arrow. Kentucky has the ball. And Mark Pope will use a timeout. A minute 13 to go in a game that looked like it was really getting away from the Cats in the early going. What has Mark Pope's team done to get back into it?
They quit turning the ball over, number one. And the second thing, they've been more resolute to get the ball into the paint. They've been moving it more. They've been a better passing team in this second half. But number one was the turnovers, like taking better care of the basketball. And that's given them the opportunity to go to the offensive glass a little bit more. And I think on this possession here after the timeout, you got to be thinking Aberdeen and Oweh.
Yeah.
You know, those are the guys that are going to, you know, and stay on the ground if you're Tennessee. Like they're going to give you fakes. Stay on the ground.
This league is so tough, but whoever loses this game will fall below 500 in league play, down to 2-3.
Well, there's still a lot of games left, but you're going to take some punches in this league. There's no question. Nobody's going to get through this unscathed.
A minute 13 to go. A huge crowd here in Knoxville. As always, a huge rivalry game for two programs who have been playing each other forever. And this crowd hoping that their team can hang on to a game that they have led all afternoon. Kentucky has never led in this game.
Well, it was all Tennessee in that first half up to the last 4 minutes, where Kentucky was able to make a little bit of a run. They couldn't get it down to single digits, but they were down 11. But in this second half, it's been all Kentucky. And give credit, Colin Chandler's had some really good minutes, but Denzel Aberdeen has really carried this team in the second half.
As he did in the come from behind win Wednesday at LSU. Coming out of the timeout, with them still on defense, them being Tennessee. Again, Gillespie not in the game. Evans is. It's going to be Oweh to inbound it for Kentucky, and he's got to deal with the height and the length of Amen as he tries to inbound. Gets it in. Now Aberdeen. Chandler. Back to Aberdeen. Screen Marino. 10 to shoot. Into the final minute. Shot clock at 5. Oweh. Too strong. But a foul is called on Nate Ament to send Oweh to the line for 2. Did he get him on the elbow? That was the signal given by the official. Rick Barnes, as you can tell, did not like the call one bit. Let's get a look.
Just a little step back. You couldn't really tell how much contact, but any contact they're likely to call it. It was after he let it go, right. But it doesn't matter. He's still in the, you have to come down before the shot attempt is over.
Oweh a miss. Now 4 for 7 from the line today. 76% on the season.
And Jacoby Gillespie back in the game.
One of 2 and a 1-point game. Rick Barnes hollering out a play, not using a timeout, telling Gillespie what he wants him to run. Oh, it's stolen by Chandler. Oweh, and Kentucky has its first lead of the afternoon. Unbelievable.
What a spectacular steal by Colin Chandler. coming off a little fade screen. Gillespie tries to get the ball to Amen, but it was perfectly read. Just not a very smart pass at all by Jacoby Gillespie, but perfectly read by Colin Chandler.
The turnover story has reversed itself from the first half. A miss on the free throw, but an offensive rebound. You can see about a 13-14 second difference between the game clock and the shot clock. Tennessee will play the possession out. Aberdeen the drive, and he hits! What a second half for Denzel Aberdeen.
What an amazing comeback by Kentucky.
And Rick Barnes will use a timeout. A stunning turn of events here in recent minutes as Kentucky has taken the lead.
Has comeback cats been taken or trademarked yet? Who would have thought in the first half down 17, Kentucky would put themselves in this position to have a chance to win this game? And Denzel Aberdeen has been the star of this second half.
It is deja vu all over again. They were down 18 to LSU Wednesday, came back to win it with Aberdeen being a monster. 17, all 17 of his points in the second half. Today, he's got 22, 18 of them in the second half to really be the leader of this team, getting back and into the lead. He's had help, always been much better. Chandler's had big minutes. Diabate's played better in the second half, and all of a sudden, it's Tennessee on the ropes.
The game clock has been adjusted to 13.8.
With 13.8 seconds remaining, it's Tennessee in a situation where they must have a basket.
It has been deja blue.
I see what you did there. So, Jacoby Gillespie, who is a sensational player and has had a great game. And is this a bad pass or just great anticipation by Chandler?
Well, two things can be true, and those two things are true. It was a bad pass, but a great defensive play off that little fade action. And then Denzel Aberdeen just gets into the lane and toughs that into the basket.
Okay, 13.8 to go. Do they work hard to get the best three they can get, or do they just try to score quickly even if it's a two because there's enough time to go up and down?
I think you can go for two, and oftentimes when you're aggressive going to the basket, that can open up a three, but right now it's about extending the game.
Amen to inbound. Into Boswell.
Got Diabate guarding Gillespie, and he's face guarding and not going to let him get the ball.
Down to 8 seconds. Henderson into the game. Too strong on the three. And a foul is called on Diabate. He has fouled out of the game. Only 2.6 seconds remain, though. They got a decent look at a three from Henderson. The end result is going to be 2 free throws coming for the Vols.
Well, give credit to Diabate for face guarding Jacoby Gillespie. He was completely out of that play, so Henderson had to take a really difficult three.
Gillespie the hustle, Diabate the foul. He has fouled out. And it's going to be Gillespie on the line. If he makes the first, make the second, or are you at the point where you need to deliberately miss it?
I think there's a lot that can go wrong with deliberately missing it, but you can certainly see them trying it, and they're going to call a timeout to talk about it. But with Garrison and Marino there, it becomes about a free throw blockout, and all you have to do is get a finger on the ball.
Kentucky 31 points in the first half, 49 in the second half. Basically eliminated their turnovers, forced Tennessee into a ton of turnovers in the second half. And once again, Denzel Aberdeen stepping up into a leading role for this team in a game in which the Wildcats were trailing by double digits. They don't have Jalen Lowe for the rest of the season. Denzel Aberdeen now is the lead guard for this Kentucky team, and he has stepped into that role, Jay, beautifully in recent games.
Boy, his use of the shot fake, getting to the rim, finding open people, but it's been his aggressiveness in the second half. He's got 22 points for the game, and it's been an efficient 22. 7 of 11 from the field, and he's knocked down 5 of his 6 free throw attempts.
All right, so how does Tennessee play it? What is Gillespie going to try to do? Is he going to try to make it, or will it be a deliberate miss and hope for a rebound and a putback? 2.6 to go. Deliberate miss. Tipped. Carey had it. And the game will end with Kentucky pulling off a win here in Knoxville. And now we got some pushing and shoving between Carey and Oweh. And the coaching staffs are trying to get in the middle of the players to make sure the lid doesn't blow off of this one. Kentucky with the win, and fortunately, it doesn't escalate. It may have been Garrison, not Oweh. I beg your pardon, all kinds of bodies around, couldn't tell for sure. Jalen Carey had his hands on that offensive rebound for a moment, had to gather, had it blocked, the game ended, and Mark Pope's team finds a way to come back from 17 down on the road, Jay, and pull off the victory.
A remarkable comeback by Kentucky. Now, certainly Tennessee is going to be kicking themselves, but Kentucky was spectacular in the second half and showed a great deal of toughness.
The deliberate miss, it's loose. Carey almost had it, got it, but by that time the game had ended. And then it got a little heated, and it was Carey shoving Oweh. Oweh may have said something to him, and Jalen Carey shoved him again. The coaching staffs got in between them, and fortunately, it didn't get any worse than that.
Yeah, good job by the officials there to get in there and the coaches to make sure that this didn't escalate into something really ugly.
And Mark Pope getting down there, grabbing Garrison. The game is over. The Wildcats win and extend their winning streak to 3. All 3 of them coming back from double-digit deficits. What a game. 80-78 Kentucky over Tennessee. More SEC coming your way right now from Nashville. It's Florida and Vandy. Take it away, Carl and Jimmy.